Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm 2016. We're here with the Super 16. SolidJake, Kulinski, Kevin Johnson, also known as Cloaken. It's Easter weekend, y'all, and yet we're here with these epic games. This is awesome on awesome. It's like you take an awesome base and then you put more awesome on it.
Yeah, dude, I don't have time for holidays. I'm all about video games and watching these.
You can have both, Jake. You can do it both.
Are we going to wear bunny ears tomorrow?
Yeah. Why not? We should definitely Easter.
We shouldn't set those expectations too high.
Okay, that's true, that's true. All right, we'll have to talk to the production crew about that one. Okay, well, our first match is down for Jake and I. It was UC Irvine versus Washington, but we're turning our attention now to LSU versus Tennessee. These are two teams we actually haven't seen a lot from yet. So, you know, this is cool. And yet we know we have some incredible talent there on both sides that have made it all the way here.
After studying some of the games of these teams, I've just been absolutely floored by their level of play. I mean, the LSU, this team is coming in the Bob Ross Fight Club. I mean, maybe it's kind of in honor of the fan club.
Exactly. The Ventic must be bursting their buttons out there with these guys, D-rated, or we call them Drated, actually. Hecker MJ, Cruxius, Folden, and Mateo 243. You know, these guys are a really solid team. We talked to them. They focus so much up on the map. So the objective play is really where they've got their attention. We talked to them about, like, their strategy looking at Tennessee. Have they been studying their past? Have they been studying their plays? Sure, they intended to do a good bit of that, but they've mostly just been focusing on the basics, making sure that they outplay the objective of their opponents. They know that that's going to be their winning strategy. They love to play Li Ming, Stitches, Tassadar, Rhaegar, Greymines, that kind of composition. So we could be seeing some Stitches out of those guys, but let's turn our attention to University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Again, I think this is our first game we've cast for these guys, but we've got some serious talent on this team.
All right, so Rafflecopter, he has been a household name in the pro scene, so he is an absolute beast. We know him well, but we've got to actually talk about, you know, some of the players on this team, like Frumgore. He's got over 5,000 games of Hero League played.
That's so many video games.
Like, insane. Like, he is gone in. So this is a super experienced team. They're coming into this as a, you know, a complete just new roster, you know, brand new this year, and all of them are just monsters. Mechanically very, very strong. In team fights, I mean, you've got to be looking at their play. Gut Slug on the melee assassins. It's going to be beastly.
Yeah, it is. Of course, Rafflecopter, he had great success in Heroes of the Storm this year. Got really, really far and so much skill and experience even outside of Heroes of the Dorm. So we're going to be seeing him as a core component of this team. The team has incredible respect for his knowledge of the game, his shot calling. So we'll be watching them strategize around Rafflecopter as a core component of their team. And of course, I'm excited just to see them play. They've both had good success throughout the early portions of these rounds, but we've yet to really see them on the big stage, and now we get a chance to see it go down. So really exciting opportunity here to cast these games with you, Jake.
Oh, yeah. But we've got to be almost ready for the draft, right?
I think so. Let's turn our attention to it. Of course, our first games today going to be happening on Tomb of the Spider Queen, a very aggressive early game map where we see rotations as key and team fighting, obviously a big part of the picture. Zagara already getting banned out by LSU. Maybe they were watching those games earlier where Zagara is such a monster on this map.
I mean, so smart. It's not even just the power of Ma, just her vision, everything about her. She's easily one of the most highly contested heroes on this map. But this is probably the only map where you would ever see Johanna ban.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
Just because, you know, Knight takes pawn and rotating, and she's the safest piggy bank in the game.
Yeah, indeed. So we saw a big wave clear with Zagara get banned out, and then we see them capitalize by picking another one, Zul. First pick for them. Zul, obviously one of our newer heroes. That is not Zul. I think if I had to guess, that would not be him.
Well, Thrall's a cool dude.
He is cool too.
Zul's a creepy, scary, spooky skeleton Razor, and he's going to be that first pick there on the side of LSU. Now, Tennessee, do they respect the power of Li Ming paired with Zul? Because Bone Prison just, you know, gives you that guaranteed lockdown after 2 seconds of after being cast to really control. Oh my goodness.
There's Thrall, the foreshadowing.
The future.
The foreshadowing was real. Another strong laner. Typically, Zagara, Zul, and Thrall seen as our top 3 laners right now in the game. So they're picking up that good counter to Zul, followed up by the Muradin.
They passed up Li Ming though.
Yeah, they did. Interesting choice by them. They are giving LSU the opportunity to pick up that Li Ming for the combo with Zul. Li Ming, one of our strong ranged assassins, but they're going for the Greymane. All right, the flashy plays.
They are just going to draft new heroes.
Yeah.
And, you know, Greymane and Zul, both very, very powerful, a lot of control, and they're going full-on wolf life. Rhaegar and Greymane, the Wolf Brothers.
Absolutely. Now, Cruxius is the LSU player that we'll probably see on Greymane. He has played that hero 3 times in previous matches, so he is very comfortable on that hero, likes to do that. And then Folden on Rhaegar, That is his favorite hero by far in the support role. He's played Rhaegar 7 times previously in games in Heroes of the Dorm to date, so he's going to be feeling very comfortable.
We really need a new version of Greymane where he actually looks like Ron Burgundy and he turns into Baxter in his wolf form. Like I want that in my life.
Awesome.
Blizzard.
Or like a Teen Wolf version. That would be awesome. Basketball him up and all that stuff. All right, we do have bans coming out in the midpoint here. Jaina banned by LSU, followed up by the Falstad ban on the Tennessee side. So strong burst damage dealer taken out of the map, out of the option list with Jaina, and then of course Falstad. He's just a great hero with his disruptive gust, his ability to reset team fights. They don't want to deal with it. We've also seen one of their players on the LSU side exclusively play Falstad. I'm not sure if Chuberson, who sometimes rotates between their sub, will be in this game, but that's clearly the hero he is most comfortable on. So
I actually listed on my documentation that his role, he's not an assassin, he's a Falstad.
He's a Falstad.
That's actually his role.
Yeah.
Because that's all he plays.
Oh
we'll
my goodness,
whoa,
it's
oh
getting
no.
crazy up in here.
Now, the power of Cho'Gall paired with a hero like Rhaegar.
Yeah.
We talk about Ancestral Heal being very good, but Earth Shield, that talent is based on the health points of the hero that you throw it on, and it gives them just so much additional sustain.
Yeah, of course, if you're out there and you are not familiar with Cho'Gall, here they are in their beautiful, beautiful form. Cho and Gall are 2 players playing one hero. One hero controls the movement. They both have full kits of abilities, but the movement is controlled by Cho, and then range damage dealing, magic damage being done by Gall. So they have to play with tight synergy. They have to play together with tons of really positive communication. And of course, that's a big investment on the part of LSU to put a lot of their hero resources in a single entity.
I just wish Cho'Gall would wear a shirt.
What's up, man?
All right. Oh, the final pick is actually going to be Tyrande, the first
Nice.
Tyrande pick we've seen today. But again, we're talking about Tomb of the Spider Queen. They've got tons of vision provided by Tassadar already, but now the Sentinel ability, that owl that she can shoot out across the map, going to give them not only more vision, but crazy rotation potential. The Stormbolt of Muradin, follow up with the Lunar Flare with Hunter's Mark applied for that damage amplification, can absolutely dismantle heroes and give them the much stronger early game.
Yeah, especially heroes like
Cho'Gall.
Huge health pool, huge damage.
Ooh.
It works really well together. So nice pickup by them to go for the Tyrande. That is a great counter pick for Cho'Gall. So this is a big, bold move for them out of the gate. I don't even know that we've seen them play Cho'Gall to date. This is their first time showcasing this hero. We did hear that they were considering possibly drafting Cho'Gall.
But this is the time to bust it out, right? If
Yeah.
you have your super secret strats, and this is the time to bring
Get
it
a
to
leg
the
up.
table.
And you know what? That's actually a really interesting point that you make, Jake. If they can get into the minds and into the heads of Tennessee early, which they know they're clearly seen as the underdog in this matchup, then that might give them the sort of morale boost, the confidence boost, and the sort of
And this is a
cage-rattling.
great map for Cho'Gall too, just because the way that it can rotate, the way that it can. There's no mana on Gall. Gall
Yeah.
can just lob out abilities left and right without being punished ever in terms of resources spent. So the way that you can pressure down towers very early in this game and set up for that early turn-in of the Web Weavers, the Web Weavers tend to just take out the towers for that first turn-in. But if you can pressure a fort, it can mean so much.
Well, let's find out. We're going to turn our attention to the game right now on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Game 1, LSU Bob Russ Fight Club, D-rated, Draded Cho. Hecker MJ on Gall. He's going to be paired with Cruxius on Greymane. Wait a second here. Rhaegar, sorry, I missed the Cho'Gall, D-rated Cho. Hecker MJ's Gall, sorry.
We did it,
Bad
boys.
intro. Cruxius, Greymane, Folden, Rhaegar. Mateo 243 on Zool. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, we did it, man. Don't apologize. Look at these handsome nerds. We're spinning around. We've got Gut Slug on Thrall, their melee assassin. We're going to say BYD, going to be playing Tassadar.
BYD.
Math Diz, going to be a Muradin. He's probably better at math than me. Rafflecopter on Li Ming. And then Frumgore playing the Tyrande.
Yes, indeed. The big question at hand. Will Cho'Gall work for LSU? If you're out there and you think it will, head on over to Twitter. Use the hashtag Heroes of the Dorm and vote for your favorite team. If you're going with the Cho'Gall, hashtag vote LSU. If you're going for Tennessee, Rafflecopter and crew, hashtag vote TENN. Let's see what you think.
And send me pictures of beautiful cats watching these games because I need more cat pics in my life. Alrighty, well, looking at those level 1 talents, pretty darn standard stuff, but one thing we want to point out is Eye of Kilrog here on Gall. This gives a lot of vision to the team, which would be very beneficial in saving Greymane.
Dude,
Oh,
that Greymane
no!
falling so low.
What?
Yeah, nice Lunar Fair by Lunara. She actually caught Cho'Gall and Greymane. That's 3 heroes fully locked down for LSU there in the early game. So just cool to see Tyrande flexing her muscles in the early game.
She is a buff lady,
yeah.
and I wouldn't fight her.
All right. Here we see Draded, Hecker MJ paired as the Cho'Gall right now. Laning against Zul is Thrall. That's a good, pretty even pair up. But both of them just going to trying to be holding down this bottom lane. We do see the strong laners tend to hold that bottom lane while we see the rotations happening in the mid and top on this battleground most often.
Yeah, and you can already see that Eye of Kilrog.
Yeah.
It has such a massive vision radius, and you can cast it from so far away. Again, just kind of planting them down everywhere, just getting eyes on the rotations and forcing the side of Tennessee to clean those up left and right.
Yeah, we got Vision working on behalf of both of these teams pretty well. Of course, Tassadar and Lunara on the side of Tennessee, and then Eye of Kilrog working really well for the side of LSU. And just, the rotations continue, picking up gems.
Oh, no.
Dude,
beautiful body blocks into Lunar Flare. Yeah, because Hunter's Mark.
Yeah.
25% damage amplification of all incoming damage. It's massive.
That is massive. Keep an eye on your lower right-hand corner as we play through this game. The small number next to those gems is the gem count that the heroes are holding. And the big number, the 0 out of 50 that you see there, is the number that they've turned in, which basically secures those counts towards the objective. If they can get a full 50, right now we see a turn in here happening on the part of Tennessee. If they can get a full 50 gems, they will recruit the web weavers that will push in their favor. That is the core objective you're going to be seeing on this battleground.
So generally when we see a Thrall picked up, we'll talk about that in a moment, so much damage, forcing out the charge, the run that he has there, the mount ability, very early in this game. But generally when you see Thrall, or Cho'Gall, excuse me, he's looking to do huge damage to the structures. He's looking to start to chunk through the towers and apply that pressure. But due to these rotations and due to the lockdown of Tyrande and Muradin, he hasn't even passed the middle portion of the map. I don't think he's bombarded even a single Dread Orb onto the wall.
Yeah, that's true. They've done a good job of kind of holding him off of that. Right now we are seeing this engage here. Look at this. They're just totally going ham on Cho'Gall. Every opportunity they get right now, that is clearly their strategy. They're just going all in.
Well, it's 2 heroes in one.
Yeah.
It's like totally worth, putting that additional resource of all your stuns into that hero because it gets double the value.
Exactly. Slug just holding it down here against Zul. Zul so strong in lane. His trait, of course, allows him to recruit skeletons that will push for him. So every minion he takes down basically turns it to his team's side, and it will push in support of him. So right now we just see the rotations continuing mid and top lane right now. Both teams moving in a 4-stack. Of course, it looks like a 3-stack for LSU because they have the Cho'Gall.
Really well played here in the bottom lane by Slug. Although when Slug takes a lot of damage, it might look really good for that Zul, but Slug can heal himself up. Zul can't really do that, so he actually was forced to tap the well to maintain his presence here in the bottom. And if he does get hit by another full combo of Thrall, he could be forced into a situation where he actually has to rotate back, and he's actually not going to be here to help stall this out. Very close, 1 gem away from the turn-in.
Yeah, interesting to see LSU not necessarily defending those very strongly. Both of them just focusing on gathering gems, and the defense of that turn-in will become a very big part of the story as we move into the late game. And here we go, the stun out on Cho'Gall. So much damage. We see that repeatedly. They're clearly getting a half health bar at minimum in these early team fights on Cho'Gall, and that's just going to increase as their heroes get more powerful and stronger.
Ooh, man, those skeletons. Those skeletons did a lot of damage. Yeah, it's Cho'Gall's thrown out all these abilities, and the Tyrande Tassadar, like just the quick cooldown on that shield of Tassadar is constantly mitigating almost all of it, it seems. So this double support working out really well. Looks like we're about to have that first turn-in.
Yep, absolutely. Right now, Tennessee able to get the first recruiting of the web weavers going for them. Those 3 will spawn in. One will spawn in each lane and push forward. So this is going to divide the attention of LSU as they work to clean up these web weavers and then try to get back into the gem gathering game and work towards their web weaver spawn next time it comes around. D-rated just on the retreat. So much pressure constantly put on that Cho'Gall, and that's a nice call by Tennessee. They're just doing a really good job of keeping Cho'Gall on the back foot.
Yeah. We actually saw Hunter's Mark was used there. It's a bit of a long cooldown because this is a full-in Owl build, so he doesn't have the reduced cooldown time for Hunter's Mark. So that's a nice small win for Cho'Gall to be able to get out of there, but he did use a sprint to evade that snare as well. So a lot of resources being spent very early in this fight.
So yeah, right now Tennessee would be really happy to get some of these towers down on these forts here on the front line. If they can do that, that gives them more experience, gives them the lead, which they're slowly beginning to build over LSU as they move towards level 10. So that's good for them. Very nice work, and they're going to just rotate up, see if they can get a couple more here in the top lane.
We're actually seeing Cho'Gall realize that he is that big priority target, and Cho actually has spec'd into I Am Hurrying to increase the duration of the sprint that he does have available. So I like the response here on the side of Cho'Gall.
Indeed, and here we still have one Web Weaver remaining here for Tennessee. That's going to get cleaned up by LSU, and Red Team just looking to turn their attention back into these lanes. Slug versus Zul continues the matchup.
It's so even.
Yeah.
All right, well, you know, we do see just the pressure continuing to be pushed forward. A nice Thorn Bolt in, the Hunter's Mark going down as well. Cleanse was picked up by Rhaegar, so if he was feeling that, you know, that Cho'Gall was in a bit of a bad spot, he could definitely throw out that Cleanse, but even still, the damage is rather massive that has been taken here on the side of that Cho'Gall.
All right, so one level lead here for Tennessee, and they get ever closer to level 10. Right now, LSU just working on the XP gain side of this map. They don't want to fall too far behind. They should be keeping an eye on those turn-ins.
That's huge. A nice Bone Prison. The rotation on the Gut Slug will pick up the kill, and many gems have been dropped. So this is actually a kind of a big deal for LSU because they can get a turn-in here. This turn-in is actually critical to achieve before level 10 is reached by Tennessee, since they do have about half a level lead. And if they do manage to get this and snowball into level 10 first, they can get massive momentum off this.
And Cho'Gall, 44 gems. That guy's going to be happy to get those off. And turned in. That's a full turn in for the Web Weavers just on the gems that Cho'Gall turned in alone. So here comes Web Weavers in their favor. If they can get these towers down, they're going to be pretty much on an even footing with Tennessee.
Yeah, and they can just power through this, leave Zul in bottom, rotate up to mid to try to maximize the value, and quickly get level 10. It's going to be even or pretty darn close as to when level 10 is achieved, but as these towers do start to fall during this fight, it could very much be there for LSU first.
Interesting to note in the mid and top lanes, you can see those Web Weavers. The lanes are pretty well pushed out by Tennessee, so you know when that happens, sometimes it takes longer. Obviously, it takes longer for the Web Weavers to get to the front lines of those keeps, or forts and keeps, the walls. So it prevents, it sort of lessens the value. You know, they have to move through 2 of these minion waves, so really important to try to keep your minion waves pushed out so you get full value on those Web Weavers. But right now, that's working out okay. Tennessee still trying to address the Web Weaver in the mid lane. Meanwhile, LSU doing a good job to push with the one that remains in the top lane.
Yeah, mid didn't take any damage, but they did get the full wall on top, and they're actually trying to like force a fight here. A huge engage onto Cho'Gall, throwing a lot of resource out, but the Ancestral will top him off with a Shadowball volley in response.
And look at that, the response with Zul with the Poison Nova. There is so much damage out of that heroic. They basically had full attention on Cho'Gall, and Zul just ran in and was like, y'all about to get wrecked with this poison.
That turnaround was fierce. I love watching Upheaval in action. It's like throwing out 15 hooks in one direction.
Yeah, and you know, when you see all those health bars taking poison damage, it's just so stressful.
All right, well, we can see this engage. They throw everything they have onto Cho'Gall with Hunter's Mark. Sundering was there, you know, to try to burn him down, but the Ancestral Heal keep them topped off. The turnaround, the engage of that massive Upheaval, and then Greymane just chunking through the health bar of Frumgore. An excellent 2 for nothing in their favor after they defended their Web Weavers.
Yeah, gems everywhere. And of course, if you're not familiar with this map, the gems, if you don't pick them back up, they're gone forever. So all that work collecting them, working towards the objective, if you drop them and you're taken out of the fight and your teammates don't pick them up, they are gone. So here we see Web Weavers for LSU pushing for them. That's 2 objective caps for them and 1 for Tennessee. Fourth
Nice.
ball just going.
Yeah, that was nice.
Engage. Yeah.
He stopped the charge and the Surging Fist of Cho'Gall, denying him that potential engage in the top portion.
Ooh.
Once again, we have it going out. Teleport there for Raffle. We do see his Shadow Stalk used in response, and a great response here. The Stormbolt volley really didn't do all that much.
Yeah, you know, interesting decision-making by Cho'Gall just to try to go for that Li Ming super early. So much damage, though, in return.
No.
And the turnaround, it's 1 for 1 right now. Both teams just trying to retreat without losing any more heroes. But Cho'Gall, you see the value of an early kill on a Li Ming. They're just willing to just hard engage off of the Upheaval when they see her a little bit out of position.
Yeah, and the back-to-back turn-ins on top of it. I mean, it's really looking quite nice here in the mid-game, but definitely not a bad scenario for Tennessee. They've managed to actually, although they haven't turned in a single gem at this point in time, they've already got 52 in the bank. Yeah. And they're very close to having another turn-in, so they just need to kind of look to regain their composure, get their turn-in, and try to get one of these forts down. Not a single fort has fallen yet.
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting talking to LSU. These guys, they tend to have a pretty humble point of view about their team. They're like, yeah, you know, we're just a bunch of ragtag group of guys, but I got to give it to them.
Yeah.
That's not looking that way right now on this map. They're playing very, very strongly together against a team that has very well-known players who have a lot of experience in Heroes of the Storm. Oh, and here we see Cho'Gall Can they get focused? A lot of health taken away, but it wasn't fully capitalized on by Tennessee. They weren't all in optimal position to damage Cho'Gall.
Upheaval on 2, pulling them in, and we do see that massive Poison Nova going out. The Ancestral Heal did connect, and it's keeping that Cho'Gall able to be aggressive. Gut Slug is so very low, and the Gillyweed cocktail picks him off. Man, Cruxius is somehow still alive, but the resets up from Gore not going to be enough as Go for the Throat burns him down.
2 for 1 in favor of LSU right now, and the health bars are so low for both teams. Cho'Gall, though, just wrecking it right now, taking out heroes. They have a 4-on-2 advantage right now, LSU in the winning scenario there. Math is, though, he needs to be careful. He's going to have to back out, and Cho'Gall just ready to keep pressuring this mid-fort. So much health on him right now.
That Poison Nova was nasty. It just went in. He had no care for life whatsoever. He just said everything on this planet needs to die right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Zool is a really cool dude, man. That heroic indeed. Very, very strong.
I'd go out for drinks with him.
Yeah. He's so buff. He's so buff.
Well, we got to talk about Cruxius in that fight. That snipe he had with the Gillyweed cocktail to secure that kill early in the fight really enabled them to be so powerful. And then he turned around with that massive Go for the Throat. He has been a huge playmaker already, dodging everything that comes his way.
All right, Tennessee trying to get an opportunity here to turn in gems. It looks like they will have enough to get the Web Weaver, so that will be pushing for them right now. This is a really even matchup right now, and it's so interesting to watch the play around Cho'Gall. Of course, he's such a strong hero on this map because the rotations are so tight, and they're doing a good job with it. They're really making good use of Upheaval, disrupting team fights, and then Zool's Poison Nova is just working wonders.
Yeah, Ancestral just came off cooldown, so they're now back to full power for teamfight capability. They have a level lead on the side of LSU, so they're going to be happy to take a fight. Now, of course, they are the ones defending against the Wave Weaver, but look at how far the lanes are pushed.
Yeah, yep, indeed. So, right now, Tennessee roaming as a 5 squad, trying to figure out how to clear out these lanes and continue to push. Looks like they're just going to turn to a hard push on this top lane. They want to get this fort, get the experience out of it, and right now we just see LSU cleaning up the remaining Web Weavers. Still one remains in the bottom lane, so they will need to address that at some point, but like you said, the lanes are pretty well pushed out, so it's not a super urgent concern. They're going to turn their concern to the top lane Web Weaver, which is already on their fort.
Yeah, getting this fort is a big deal for them. They're actually initiating hard on that Cho'Gall, trying to blow him up, putting him out of position, and they will get the Molten Block forced out. Can the Ancestral connect? I seriously doubt it, but it was so very close.
Oh man, so smart on their part to just say, why is this Cho'Gall so far away from his team? Let's capitalize on it. This is very smart play by Tennessee. Oh, so good. And now 3 heroes down for LSU because of the Cho'Gall taken out.
Yeah, such a smart call to just throw that Sundering out. They know they have the follow-ups.
Yeah.
And it paid off so well here. And now they're looking to, there's 3 members down. They can pressure and destroy this keep. Yeah. Just like that. One mistake means so much in Heroes of the Storm.
Especially with a hero like Cho'Gall. There's so much risk reward tied up on that hero. And when you get on the losing end of that scenario, it just is so painful. But LSU still in this game. Right now, Tennessee just turns the corner on 16. They're a full level ahead. So even more comfort, even more room to kind of stretch your shoulders, take a deep breath, get turn-ins, control the map, continue to push your lanes forward, and just capitalize on wins. So Tennessee feeling pretty good right now.
Okay, well, yeah, level 16 advantage is going to be good. We actually see LSU as the favorites. Very interesting. Well, we'll have to see if that power, the Spirit Bomb energy, will be enough to propel them forward to victory in this matchup.
Spirit Bomb, powerful ability indeed. Right now, Tennessee turning their attention to Merc Camps. Always a good option to continue to push for you in these lanes. We also see LSU just doing the same thing on their side.
Yeah, nice call. We actually see the Sentinel just kind of flying around, scouting, trying to get eyes on at least a single member on the side of LSU. Not going to be successful in doing so. But as we see the Bruiser camp captured, they know exactly what is up. Do we have enough gems here for either side? Just barely not enough for LSU. Quite a ways away for Tennessee.
Yeah, indeed. Both of them right now we see LSU about to turn the corner on level 16, so they will be at equal power level briefly as they soak a bit more experience. And right now, Tennessee just content to continue to play the normal game while LSU gets back into it.
Yeah, just kind of trying to get level 16. That's why we see this forced initiation attempted. The Sundering on 2 with a huge follow-up. So the Ancestral is on point. Shadow Ball Volley for the turnaround. And a huge Poison Nova is just doing tons of damage. What a back and forth fight.
Man, I love this by Tennessee. Their initiations are so on point. They're coming so strong, and they're initiating with such aggression. Like, you heard me. We were talking almost in like kind of a passive tone about sort of the lull that we were having in the game, and then Tennessee was just like, now's the time, guys. Let's go. They pull the trigger and initiate just like a lightning bolt.
Hoot, hoot, that Hedwig, man.
Yeah.
It flew through and it just tore his head off. Owls are scary creatures. Well, level 16 is here a little bit too little too late. 2 heroes did fall, and this enables Tennessee to go for this boss. On top of that, some of the gems were in fact dropped on the side of LSU.
Yeah.
They're now back reset to having 27 in their pocket, still very close to a turn-in. But I don't know if they're going to be able to get that after they have to respond to this boss.
Yeah, no, this boss is going to do some work for them, and it's certainly going to attract the attention of LSU as they're going to have to clear it down. So we'll be looking to Tennessee to capitalize on another location on the battleground. But this isn't in any way like a game-winning scenario here for Tennessee, but it certainly is a distraction for LSU. They're going to have to focus this boss down. They'll probably get it down before it does any additional structure damage. He might actually get all the way into the core, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to pressure them and force their hand, and it just kind of makes them relinquish any kind of control they want to have on the map. I'm a little surprised Tennessee isn't going for that mercenary camp in the bottom lane. I think that could give them a little bit of additional pressure. But yeah, they still do have ample time to do that.
Yeah, I mean, this is just basically giving Tennessee the opportunity to set up this battleground completely in their favor. They have all the time in the world to get their turn-ins.
Oh,
and this is going to have web weavers. So right now, LSU is just basically scrambling. They dealt with the boss. Now they're going to have to deal with merc camps. Now they're going to have to deal with web weavers. Tennessee is in full control.
And actually, the mercenary camps will disappear during the summon of the web weavers unless they've already been engaged. So the fact that they timed this nicely actually makes perfect sense. That's why they didn't go for it earlier. They were waiting for Li Ming to get there to turn in her 13 gems and summon this big powerful push in the bottom lane.
Absolutely, and right now Tennessee primed to push in one of these lanes. It looks like they're going to let the bottom lane kind of do work. They're going to clear out this wave in the mid lane, and then look, I imagine they're going to try to go for win here.
Yeah, this is really smart because not only are they maximizing the experience from all the lanes, they're getting their web weavers so that they're a little bit less staggered, and they're so much easier to respond to if they're staggered. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work out. Rafflecopter gets pulled in, but he has all the sustain he needs, and they force out a very early Ancestral.
Yeah, we're not seeing a ton of value out of these heroics right now, and here we see just LSU having to fall back behind their wall, but that wall is going to melt so quickly. Yeah. Tennessee here showing some incredible strength and so many huge cooldowns been used by LSU, and that's going to put them very much on the defensive. Of course, Tennessee as well, not at full power. We see Li Ming, of course, with Disintegrate, and Tassadar with Force Wall, but those are pretty low cooldown abilities, so
this is tough, though.
Team at full max power.
I mean, they're sieging up the bottom keep. The top keep is already down, so those webbers have actually made it to the core. The middle keep is now going to be sieged up because the wall has just fallen, and they have to split the resources to defend this.
Yeah, right now LSU's attention is in a billion places. They feel the pressure in so many lanes right now, the mid lane and the bottom lane. There goes a keep again.
Lone Prison. Oh, the forest wall to deny their engage. Nicely done by Tassadar.
And right now, LSU just trying to stem the tide. Melting. Oh, man. The Gray Mane goes down so fast. Poison Nova was used to try to just stem the tide, but Tennessee's looking to go for the win here.
Dude, style points to Math. He actually just dwarf tossed to juke the Bone Prison. He timed it perfectly. That is some nice little style points. A+ to you, Math.
And just like that, LSU's core is laid bare. There are no other structures that stand between Tennessee and the win. The core is all that remains. So LSU is in a point of desperation at this point. They're going to have to do something, and yet they're also a talent down. Storm talents in the favor of Tennessee. This is a pretty rough scenario for LSU. Again, the game's not over yet. They could take a team fight, turn it, get that the advantage with XP by getting those kills, and they could be back in this game.
It's going to be tough, though. Storm talents are quite impactful, and especially when we have that temporal flux in Li Ming. She now has a 40% slow on that Disintegrate, that big laser beam that we just saw. And when you start to see her reset, she just controls the fight so much, it enables it to be far easier to land the big Sunderings, even just the single skill shots like the Lunar Flare of Tyrande, and setups for Force Wall. So it makes it a little bit scary to be on the receiving end.
Yeah, that Disintegrate with the slow just gums up a fight so much. That ability can turn and control so many heroes at any point, just depending on what Tennessee wants to focus down. And look at this, we see the lane so far pushed out with the support of these strong catapult heroes. and LSU just scrambling to try to clean them out as quickly as possible. But right now, Tennessee very happy to push this scenario right now. They're in the mid lane, and they're going for the win.
Yeah, and there's no reason to not press your advantage when you've got catapults in all 3 lanes, and you've got almost a 2-level advantage with the Storm Talent advantage. They want to try to force a mistake. If they can get that Cho'Gall to overcommit with a Surging Fist or anything like that, lock him down, blow him up, win the game.
Yep, and right now they're just inching closer and closer to the core. This is a tough scenario for LSU. They're going to have to do something to stop this. They will have to hard engage at some point. What are they going to do? I'm looking for an upheaval at some point. There it goes. Here we go. So much damage, though. There goes the Faith Shift. And Tassadar falls. It melts so quickly. Poison Nova is out. Damage on Slug from Gore as well, but their attention is on the car and is dropping so fast. That will be a win for Tennessee. Game 1 goes to them here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Nice control. Nice play. They just... they wrapped their grip around LSU and continued to tighten it all game. We saw great play out of LSU in the early game with that Cho'Gall, but Tennessee just tighter and tighter like a boa constrictor. Just continue to put the grab on, take down a keep, take down another keep.
Do you have to bring up giant reptiles when we're in Florida? I'm already scared, man.
It's in the air, man. It's just like, it's all primordial alligators and reptiles.
I watched so many scary alligator videos because that game was actually just as scary. Monstrous play. As soon as they realized what they had to do, find Cho'Gall, eliminate him. They were doing that so much more in the late game. And it really just seemed like once they had Sundering, that was the entire purpose of the ability. Disrupt the team's initiations, disrupt everything in their plan, and turn it around.
Yeah, and I got to give props to Tennessee for their ability to know when to engage, when to capitalize on the very, very small mistakes that LSU was making. Is this hero a little bit out of position? It might not look like a team fight that you would anticipate, or even that we anticipated or expected, but they knew. They were like, now is the time. Throw out the Sundering. Now is the time. Go for the upheaval. And that's great. It just continued to work for them, give them more and more advantages.
The double support was also so impactful too, because we saw so many really money Poison Novas coming up from Zool that did huge damage. And I was like, certainly somebody's gonna die here.
Yes.
But even like this one right here, just a lot of damage going out, but the double support makes it look like it's not a problem whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. That double support is so strong. So game 1 goes to Tennessee. LSU versus Tennessee. Of course, both of these teams coming out of the South, and LSU's not out, though. They still have an opportunity to take it back in game 2. They'll also have the opportunity to dictate where that fight will take place. So we are going to be back very, very quick. Jake and I are excited to take you through the rest of this match, and we will be back very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm 2016. We are in the middle of the matchup. LSU versus Tennessee. First game went to Tennessee with strong play against LSU's Cho'Gall. So cool to see Cho'Gall in the mix in Heroes of the Dorm. That, I think, is the first time we've broadcast a Cho'Gall
today.
Yeah,
twice now. Twice now he's been played, but
Great.
Today is, I believe, the only time he's been played on broadcast in this entire process.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of interesting hero picks in Heroes of the Dorm so far. Some Murkies, Illidan's, Cho'Galls. It's really
the diversity. Rexars earlier in the event around
right.
at 64. Give me more Rexar, please.
Absolutely. We want to see more Misha. Misha and her pet, Rexar.
Sickest bear.
Yes. All right, so we're in the middle of a great matchup here, LSU versus Tennessee. We saw strong play out of both of these teams early on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but LSU's Cho'Gall just began to fall to the coordinated play of Tennessee late in the game on Tomb of the Spider Queen as they just capitalized and took advantage of sort of building on that Battlegrounds objective. And we're going to see where we are in this next map. In fact, I think we're going to be on Infernal Shrines.
Oh.
So this map is very interesting. Want to take us through it, Jake?
Yeah, so Infernal Shrines is, of course, another 3-lane map. Pretty darn common, but the mix is there's these big punishers that you can actually gain the power of by destroying the skeletal defenders. If you manage to capture a shrine and the mercenary camps, they give you so much additional push power, like the Khazra. They siege up, they do huge damage to fortifications from afar, and then those shrines will summon these big bad punishers that will ruin the day of your opponent. The mix is with the punishers, they're kind of like a mercenary camp, but instead of just pushing down the lane, they'll actually put a priority into diving onto enemy heroes and trying to ruin them. So that's actually a stun when they land, and stun heroes can actually follow up for huge synergies. So we actually see a fair bit of Tyrande play, you see a fair bit of hooks coming through to follow up with the punishers.
Yeah.
He's like having a 6th hero on your team.
Don't forget, they also include the support of sort of magic abilities, frost damage, arcane damage, or just mortars that will shell. So there's a lot that goes on when the punishers get into play and start pushing pushing in the lane. It's just basically a bunch of craziness that your team has to adjust around. And yeah, teams will push with those punishers to capitalize on the opportunities that they present. So it's going to be an interesting experience. What do you think LSU should be doing in this map in particular to capitalize against Tennessee's play style?
Oh, we'll find out because it sounds like the draft is actually ready to roll. So let's just jump right on into it. We're about halfway through. So let's get an idea as to what's going on. So Falstad banned out here. I believe that's 2 for 2.
Wow, these are like reverse drafts from the previous game.
And Greymane Zool with, well, you're right. This is actually just kind of flip-flopped.
Yeah, it's so interesting. We're seeing both teams essentially picking up the heroes that the other team picked up in the previous game. Zool going to the side of Tennessee, Greymane as well, Murden, and Zagar Thrall going to LSU. So both teams obviously respecting the plays of their opponents and the value of the heroes that they were incurring. So we'll see what the reverse scenario looks like in the hands of the opponents. I would be impressed if Tennessee decided to go with a choke alt.
Yeah, that was it was definitely cool, and it definitely like had a lot of promise. But once the responses were figured out, like level 10 and on, it just looked like it hurt them a lot more than it helped them.
Yep. Of course, Li-Ming did get the ban this time from LSU. A lot of respect going for Rafflecopter's play on Li-Ming in that previous matchup. He's obviously a very skilled player, knows how to get the most out of that hero, capitalize on the ability, her ability to get resets and snowball team fights.
Yep.
So I think that is probably a respect ban on there.
For sure. Alrighty, well, we are now going into the second the second ban phase going in. What are they worried about? Now, we do see Tennessee actually having a bit of a front line. They have this huge control of Zool and Greymane, and Greymane's kind of a hybrid. They might actually look to ban ETC. It's not something we've seen a ton of. Or Johanna. Johanna, great synergy. We've seen the Blessed Shield Sunder Rings all tournament long have huge impacts. In ETC also, that big front line that can dive in, and they actually will go for the Johanna.
Yeah. Okay. That's a smart move. Johanna on these shrines, so much potential with her Night King spawn ability, just like we see on Tomb of the Spider Queen. She can really control those skeletal spawns that happen there, and so that I think is a smart move by them. Basically, they're saying we're not going to give you that tool in those shrine fights. You're going to have to find your ability to take those minions a different way.
Okay, well, I think it's a really intelligent ban here. 2 picks coming up for LSU next. They've already got their strong laners, their strong initiation, and their control. And, although Falstad isn't available for more control, which we know that they would like to have, they have so many other big options on the table. And they're going to go for that big support.
Yeah, that's their comfort support for Folden.
Who would they go for Warrior? I don't know if I like ETC anymore.
Yeah. Gosh.
I'm changing my mind.
How dare you, Jay?
Sorry.
There's Rhaegar, of course, such a strong healer with his chain heal, his ability to heal multiple, friendly allies at the same time, and then, of course, his heroic ability, Ancestral Healing. We've been seeing so much of that this tournament.
What about his other heroic?
Oh, I love it, Jake. You know I love it. I know you love it.
You're so smart.
Bloodlust. He can basically boost his team with their attack damage, but we don't see as much of that, unfortunately. I think there is a lot of opportunity there. If there's a brave team that wants to put strategy up on that ability.
The teams are learning, slowly.
They'll slowly come around to the wisdom of the Bloodlust.
Well,
but we still need to see a tank on the side of LSU.
Now, Stitches is actually a pretty strong hero on this battleground. When you get Last Bite, it gives him just so much sustain, especially when you're fighting over the shrines constantly. And those minions, any minion around, he just needs to get the kill basically with his E, and it reduces the cooldown exponentially. So I would actually very much be all for the Stitches kill. The constant AoE splash damage he has, also the poison, the vial that drops on the ground, can often get those last little ticks you need to potentially steal kills from your opponent when you're contesting for the objective.
Yeah, and we do know Hecarim is actually very experienced on Stitches. He's done a lot of Stitches play throughout this tournament so far, so that would probably be a logical pickup for them.
And that's so interesting. That's not their warrior player. Hecarim is, he's their flex. He's their, all over the place.
Yeah.
So they might even run double warrior if that was the case, but I'm not too sure if we're going to see that now that we're seeing Vala pick.
Yeah, Vala, obviously an interesting choice for them. Lots of AoE damage with her multi-shot, and then we've been seeing so much use of Rain of Vengeance this tournament. Just really great stun support by damage as well. If you can pull a team into a choke, figure out how to follow up another stun from your teammate, it can really wreck a team if you can catch multiple heroes inside that Rain of Vengeance. So just a solid damage dealer all around with Vala. Her attack her auto attack damage was buffed in a recent patch by Blizzard, so she's a force to be reckoned with for sure, especially around these shrines.
So Cruxius, he could almost say that Johanna's his crutch. He's been leaning on that hero so much for their warrior play, and it's not an option here. What is he going to be comfortable playing? We've seen them play a bit of Diablo. Diablo is generally considered to be a bit more of a bruiser, not so much of a solo tank, and they don't necessarily have the best follow-ups to the Shadow Charge flip combo that he brings to the table. I'm really curious to see what they're going to go for here. I really don't know, but...
Yeah, on the Tennessee side as well, we should talk about their scenario of damage-wise. They have a good amount of damage with Greymane, and of course we saw the value of Poison Nova in that previous game, so a lot of damage there as well. They go with the Uther Jaina. I was about to say, Jaina would be a
Those
big...
are just double comfort for them.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, just a solid team comp there coming out of Tennessee. A lot of heroes in which they are very, very comfortable with. So this is looking like a strong setup for Tennessee.
They've got everything. They've got the sustain damage with Greymane. He's got a fair bit of sustain and a good, more so burst, especially late game with Gilly and Cocktail. Jaina is definitely burst, but tons of control and tons of AoE damage to fight over the shrines. And I mean, Zul, he is just such a well-rounded hero.
I'm assuming we're going to see Raffle on that Jaina, but I think this particular tournament we haven't seen him with a lot of Jaina play, but I think
it should be
my guess. Yeah, for sure. Because I think the Greymane, they tend to put Frumgor on him. So Raffle on Jaina will be fun to watch indeed, but we're still looking for some kind of front line here for LSU. Stitch is still an opportunity for them. Of course, the ETC, which we did talk about, he is available as well. ETC Moshpit, a solid combination. ETC Moshpit Sundering is just ridiculous control. Oh,
there it is. All right, so they will go for the cow himself. Probably the best option left here. I mean, honestly, we've seen tons of Johanna play on the side of LSU, but ETC can have that huge impact. Now, what do they have for interrupts? There is Hammer of Justice. You can cleanse Muradin, so we can guarantee that Storm Bolt, and that's actually a big deal. So it's almost a guaranteed pickup of cleanse, and at the same time, Divine Shield. So they have like some of the best responses you could hope for. I mean, honestly, Uther is so good against ETC for that reason.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup, both of these teams. Of course, LSU's tournament life is on the line here, so they are putting all of their eggs in the basket of this composition. We're going to see how it plays out for them with these heroes. Some of them are heroes we haven't seen them spend a lot of time on. That ETC you talk about, like, is Cruxius going to feel comfortable playing that hero? Actually, it looks like Folden's going to be picking up ETC in this map, and Cruxius is going to be playing the Thrall.
Well,
again,
Cloaken, let's highlight some of our top players from that last game. Slug in particular, he is a playmaker on these melee heroes. We saw that Thrall play in game number 1 be absolutely devastating. So definitely keep your eyes on him in this next game because he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. He as well is the captain of this team. And then we've talked about this gentleman here, Rafflecopter. He is a playmaker and someone that this team highly values. Yeah. He's also the shot caller who is basically just telling the team exactly what to do at any given point, and the team is following his instruction here. Falstad, Laming, Jaina, Lunara. He is a damage dealer, a playmaker, and someone who we're going to see with Jaina.
All I see when I look at him is Willy Wonka. I don't know why.
It's the hat?
Yeah, I guess so, man. Yeah. It must be it.
Gotta be the hat. Okay, so this game on Infernal Shrines, a very different battleground than Tomb of the Spider Queen, and one in which we're going to see a lot of play around those shrines. Control over that objective in general. I don't know. What do you think is the best strategy here, given these compositions for LSU versus Tennessee?
Neither team has a ton of vision, and vision is generally a very highly contested thing here for the way that teams like to posture and look for their actual ideal initiations. So flanks are going to be a critical key element to the success of these team fights. There's so many entrance points to all of the shrines, and there's many ways to just kind of get that big sundering for the flank. And I think that's what we're going to have to see. Is the sundering going to be super impactful? Will the follow-ups of responsive heroics to try to control and deny that big value out of the sundering, will it be good enough? And can they find Thrall and pick him off before he can land that big sundering? I think is going to be a key part of the success of this game.
Absolutely. LSU with so much control on the side of their heroic picks with sundering, mosh pit, so much control. And that's not to say that Tennessee doesn't have that. They could go the Skeletal Mages route with Zul if they wanted to, but they have a lot of burst and a lot of damage potential out of that Jaina Greymane, so those will probably be kill targets for LSU, the primary kill targets. They'll want to get those out of the fight or control the healing out of Uther, but we know Uther is a very tanky support, so we're going to be looking them to target those heroes, get them out of the fight quickly.
Yeah, here in Infernal Shrines too, it's also like there's this desire to clump up and get as many of those skeletal mage or the skeletal defenders as you can. But if you clump on either side, it's going to be devastating.
Yeah.
Blizzard raining down on you, the big mosh pits. So it's got to be very careful in your positioning on this battleground in general.
Absolutely. Well, we are close to starting up here on Infernal Shrines. It's going to be an exciting match. The rubber match between these two. Is LSU going to be able to fight back and stay in this tournament, or will Tennessee clinch it all? Here we are. LSU on the left side. Dreaded playing Zagara. Hecarim on Vala. Cruxius with Thrall. Folden on ETC, and Mateo 243 on the Rhaegar.
And their opponents on the side of Tennessee in the red. We've got Slug playing Zool Uther, played by BYD. Math Diz on Muradin. Jaina will be played by Rafflecopter. And Frumgore will round out the team with that explosive hero, Greymane.
All right, let's see how this looks. That hero as well, Greymane on Frumgore, is going to be fun to watch, but we want to hear what you think. Tweet hashtag Heroes of the Dorm and vote for your favorite team. Will it be hashtag Vote LSU or hashtag Vote Tennessee? Get on out there and let us know what you think.
I got some great cat picks after the last game, so thank you so much for sending those through. You know, I'm here in Orlando for 6 weeks straight, and I miss my cat.
Yeah, but you do have that mobile game, that cat mobile game.
Oh man, it is holding me over.
You're playing that thing all the time.
All right, well, we do see Zagara is holding up in the bottom lane by herself, and you know, we're gonna have Zool rotate down to contest her as that solo laner in the bottom. Greymane, of course, making his way through the top as well, so we should see a rotation to Thrall in the top to respond to that. And he's already missed 2 minions of experience, so I mean, every minion that you don't get the soak of, it does add up, and it's kind of a bit. You can see just a slight edge already to Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely interesting to see Tennessee going the 1-4 rotation route, and then right now it looks like LSU just going sort of a 1-3-1 scenario. Maybe this 3 is going to meet up with Zagara and continue a 1-4 situation like we see Tennessee mirroring. But right now they seem content to allow 3 heroes to sit in that mid lane, while Tennessee does what is a more standard 1-4 approach.
So we're starting to see more and more and more Rhaegars picking up the Colossal Totem at level 1 to have that additional control. It's really just picked up in popularity. So I love that here, especially considering that you've got this Thrall, you've got this Vala. You want to give them all the space and all the control they could possibly have in this battle. But it also lends very nicely with ETC and his whole, you know, just the entire design of that hero.
Yes, for sure. And right now we do see Vala going with the auto attack, or not auto attack, though, more of the multi-shot focus on her talents as well. Tennessee already sitting on top of these towers, ready to take this down in the bottom lane.
This is just really good early pressure. Taking out that 1 tower gives you that nudge forward to guarantee you to have level 4 first. Having level 4 first allows you to set up at that shrine a little bit more comfortably. But I like the response here out of the Orc brothers, quickly getting about 10 skeletal defenders.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your eye on that lower right-hand corner, just like Tomb of the Spider Queen. That will be our skeletal defender count. First team that gets to 40 will spawn the Punisher that will begin to push in their lane. So that is sort of the game here. And you know what? The scenario around these shrines tends to be a little bit drawn out. Right now, you see LSU content with sort of stepping back a little
Beautiful engage there by ETC, diving on forward, but the Greymane response blowing up through ETC's health bar.
Yeah, I was about to say, LSU doing a really patient job of waiting for it.
The skeletal defenders barely didn't kill him.
Yeah. So yeah, they were very patient there, waiting for the opportunity. Like I said, it's a long fight typically around these skeletal defenders. So they got the early pickups on them, and then they backed away, waited for the engage with ETC, and followed up. So that was really smart.
All right, they've tapped the well and they're re-engaging. ETC still is not back, so they have no choice but to disengage. Beautiful rotation there from Raffle, throwing out a massive blizzard, and this just forces them away, and we actually see Greymane onto Dreaded, picking up another kill.
Zagara falls so far, and right there you saw the value of Blizzard. You mentioned it already. If you're going to be clumped up, you're going to take serious damage, and it chunked those health pools down so fast. And here we see this first shrine still contested by both teams, 31-31, and it looks like Tennessee is going to get the upper hand here and spawn this first Punisher.
All right, a beautiful start here. I mean, so far so good on the side of Tennessee. They knew exactly what they were doing. Picking up that first tower, enabling them to have level 4 for that fight, forced an immediate response out of LSU to leave the shrine, rotate down, soak up a wave of minions, and then re-engage. And it almost worked, but they were just a little sloppy, and they lost that ETC early, and now they're stuck defending this huge push.
Yeah, you know, and it's cool, interesting to see Tennessee's strategy to say, you know what, we want this shrine cap. We're going to tap well and go back. We think we have the stronger composition to take these early game team fights, And, you know, they did just that. They didn't get rattled. They went back. They didn't lose anything. And they were able to make it work for them.
Yeah, quick full level lead here on the side of Tennessee, closing in on their level 7 talents, and that's going to make Frumgore that much more ferocious with his Gillyweed cocktail style of build. Seeing him actually just, I love watching the Greymane players. They've all adapted to use this Razor Swipe that kind of buy you a little bit of additional space and mobility as you wait for that disengage to come off cooldown.
You know, that's one of the cool things about Greymane is his ability to use like his skills like that to move around a team fight. And watching a good Greymane who's like
so fun.
Yeah, microing with the damage that comes from Razor Swipe is so fun to watch for sure.
And honestly, based on the style of play we're seeing out of this Greymane, I'm really expecting him to spec into Unfettered Assault for the 60% additional range on that ability to really just amplify it even further.
That's so cool. He can really get around team fights without having to literally move his character. He can use his abilities to do that for him. So, especially when you're amidst all those minions, you can kind of use them as positioning tools.
Yeah, a lot of lane clear, a lot of picking up of the skeletons. Well, we do see the Khazra camp was collected here on the side of LSU. Bought them enough time to hit level 7, still down a full level, but they're at least on an even talent footing. And one of the interesting things we're actually seeing is we're actually seeing endless creep picked up here for Zagara. So really putting a big priority on that vision.
And look at this, creep everywhere already. You can see the value of Zagara. That whole area right there, if you're not familiar with this hero, they have complete vision over it. There's nothing that LSU can't see when Tennessee steps into that zone, and that's typically an area where you would not have that much vision.
Okay, Rhaegar actually soloing this Merc camp. He did have a bit of assistance from Zagara earlier, and it will be a shrine in the top portion of the map. But honestly, right now, Tennessee, they have such a commanding lead going towards level 10. This is kind of one of those weird scenarios where they could hit level 10 mid-fight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we talked about how drawn out these fights around the shrines can be, and if Tennessee is able to continue to soak in that top lane while they're sort of positioning around the shrine, they're going to get level 10 and basically secure this Punisher yet again. So that is a good scenario for them. And right now we see LSU just totally aware of that.
Yeah.
And maybe they're just decided.
Great call. This is super smart.
Lockdown.
Like, yes, they are conceding the objective, and a lot of the times it might seem like, you know, a hard thing to even just do. Like, right, you're giving up so much power to the enemy team. But the risk of losing that fight could like snowball so far in favor of Tennessee. This is a beautiful call here by LSU.
Yeah, I really like it, and you can see they're not that far behind in experience right now. They got those towers down and are going to continue to soak lanes and get this shrine. The interesting thing will be how much does Tennessee value the shrine? Are they going to ensure that they cap it before LSU gets 10? I imagine that would be their strategy right now. They just have Zul up there handling that. But if LSU does manage to turn 10 and they don't have a full 40 at that time, well, maybe we'll see LSU make a move.
Yeah, so we actually saw ETC in a scenario where he could have power slid in and killed Greymane, and the only reason he didn't do that is because level 10 had just been reached. It was like, in any other scenario, that was a kill, and that brought them back onto even footing, but he made the right call to back away.
Look at that vote, 56 in favor of LSU. We did see it swing a good bit in the favor of Tennessee between last game, so we got some people now believing in the Tennessee power, but still favoring LSU out there in the public. Let's see if they can hang in there. They are one game down, and this is their tournament life on the line right now. We have the Mortar Punisher pushing in the top lane, and there you see him jump over the wall like a boss, headed straight to these heroes. Of course, that's often a strategy we see from teams, baiting the Punisher over the wall, so he takes tower damage and will fall even more quickly. But the interesting thing is Tennessee's able to capitalize by getting the towers out of that top, the front wall. That gives them even more experience.
So actually, Water Elemental was popped very early here from Raffle, actually a little overconfident, thinking he might be able to just find Fold and getting a little bit over-aggressive and try to kill him in the process. So that's another 60 seconds where that will be, on cooldown, where he cannot use that ability, but does he get the fort?
Yeah.
No! One more tick.
Oh, not quite. It looks like Folden is going to clean it up, but that thing, you could just breathe on it, and it is going to fall over. So that is going to be a nice experience boost for Tennessee as soon as they can put a little bit of damage on there.
Yeah, all right. Well, we do see the mercenary camps again. This is like their favorite merc camp. They always grab that one first, and it's been giving them a good bit of additional present to push out. This is going to be one of the first mercenary camps of the game picked up on the side of Tennessee, and they're actually going for 2 at once. So they're trying to get one of those power plays, try to split the attention of LSU, especially while they're going to be encroaching on that level 13 talent tier.
Yeah. All right, minions being picked up here. They're going to be pushing lanes, and here we see it full on engaged. There goes the Sundering and the Rain of Vengeance. So much damage going down on Tennessee. LSU seems to have the upper hand in a significant way right now. Uther did fall out of the fight. He will be able to heal, though, with his trait. Math has decided to come back in. He is very low on health, but there goes the Nova.
The Ancestral Heal and the two-man maul. I cannot believe they picked it up, but they're so low they can't actually capitalize it. So it's just going to be used for the disengage, but they kept DTC alive, and that counts for so much.
Oh man, that was a dirty fight. It looked like Tennessee was just going to have to back out, but then you saw Poison Nova just bring the mortality to LSU, where they were just like, we do not have what it takes to sustain that.
I've got to commend LSU on that play. They actually managed to time it flawlessly so that Rain of Vengeance went out, both charges connected, and then the Sundering was literally like milliseconds right after that. It was just perfectly done.
Yeah, that was really, really fun to watch. Slug still holding it down here on these shrines. That seems to be their strategy, especially if they can capitalize on one hero taking advantage of the objective. If LSU isn't pushing them, they're just going to put Slug on it. He's going to be the fastest at clearing that, and right now they can continue to soak lanes. So still full level lead by, actually not full level lead, but a level lead right now.
Yeah, they've really caught up. LSU has closed that gap quite a bit, but the problem being is they just can't contest this. There's already 36 skeletal defenders picked up. This is going to be, what, the third Punisher in a row on the side of Tennessee.
And here we see the Fallen Shaman pushing in this lane. That is a Merc that you do not want to let alone.
Yeah, Zul's on his way up there.
That's good. Because if you do, he will just continue to push and push and push and spawn his hounds and just wreak havoc. But here we see the Punisher in the bottom lane, backed by the support of Tennessee. They're just going to ride this wave all the way to the keep wall and see if they can get some damage done.
Okay, remember this is a 4v5, but kind of a 5v5 with a Punisher. Tons of damage going out and Fold, and Rain of Vengeance is enough to peel from Gore. Needs that Divine Shield to back away from that.
Yeah, wow. Nice peel by Rain of Vengeance. That was a smart move. Folden was dropping very, very low, but he did get the dive behind the wall. Slug going to clean out those mercs and try to get down here to support his team. And right now, I think they're going to get this wall. They're going to at least get some of these towers down and be standing on the cusp of a keep cap soon after.
Yeah, a lot of damage. It's a lot of experience being picked up here by Tennessee. We saw the game had been evened out by LSU from that last fight that they did so well. But the advantage once again regained from Tennessee just from the map objective. And that's kind of the thing. They haven't been able to contest the objective at all. They've always been trying to play catch up a little bit too much.
Nice job by Tennessee to turn their attention to this fort here in the mid lane. They realize, look, we're down here in the bottom lane. We've got the keep exposed. Let's grab this fort while we can. They do that and then back out. Right now, looking towards 16 for that next power boost, while LSU is a little bit behind.
Yeah, and I love this. They're never just kind of sticking around when they don't have to. They know they control the map right now. They know that it's not even safe to soak the bottom and the top lanes. They're just going to go back, refuel their tanks, get back to full power, and really utilize level 16 to invade and try to abuse the weakness of LSU in this moment.
Murden potentially flirting with that aggressive Merc camp in the bottom lane. Yep, he says, Slug, help me rock this really quickly. Rafflecopter going to come down and help cap that, it looks like. But this could be risky. It looks like LSU.
This is so smart. They're trying to force a fight,
yeah,
essentially. They're saying, I dare you to fight us right now because we're so close to
16. Yeah, and they said, nope, we're not going to do that. So nice play by them to capitalize even on the anticipation of 16.
Dude,
LSU
6 goats, 1 lane.
That's a
the
lot
dream.
Of goats. Those guys are such a pushing force. If they can get on top of fortifications, they will just chunk it down, and they're going to escort them until they can do just that. They don't even take tower damage, so
yeah, they just siege from too far.
Yeah,
and they're just playing the escort service right now, just walking around, guarding them to the best of their ability, and they are just doing so much damage to everything.
Yeah, they're going to potentially get both of these towers if LSU doesn't just wade in and deal with it. This is actually a very interesting situation here for Tennessee. And there you go, both towers down.
Yeah, all right, so, job's done. They're just going to rotate up to the top lane, utilizing that level 16. And again, this is another bad snare for LSU. LSU is behind on the talent here. They cannot fight at the even power of Tennessee, and they might just be conceding another Punisher as a result.
Yeah, LSU really has to figure out how to stop this. I mean, it feels like Tennessee just keeps catching the breaks where they are either have some kind of advantage. Either it's a talent tier, or it's just Merc pressure, or it's something. And right now, LSU is totally being dictated by Tennessee's game right now, and they have to figure out how to stop that.
Yeah, they're just gonna, concede. They're gonna go grab this one Kaiser camp in the bottom lane and take out a fort as a consolation prize. This consolation prize will, in fact, get them level 16, but
Tennessee
they're gonna be stuck defending that top keep. And honestly, Cloaken, I don't know if they can defend it.
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have to start making some bolder and bolder decisions here, because right now Tennessee stands on the cusp of keep damage and pushing even further. And as we talked about, keeps are where it starts to feel really, like a real deal. Like, this is starting to get very serious. So right now, Tennessee picking up the Fallen Shaman as well. Slug still holding it down on these shrines for Tennessee. That is a smart move by them. They just keep the majority of their resources here, holding LSU at bay while they capitalize on the objective.
Yeah, by being forward, they're just, again, they deny the potential mercenary camp for LSU if they weren't forward like this. They make sure they maximize their experience from this wave of minions, and they're just, you know, they're not going to overcommit. They're just going to wait. But
yeah,
if Cruxius can land a big Sundering and follow up with a Maw from Dreaded,
and then
while it's a 4v5,
yeah.
But Tennessee is just too smart to fall for that.
Man, and Slug getting more and more powerful at his ability to clear those skeletal defenders. You saw his speed at capping that objective is just getting faster and faster. And here we see the Mortar Punisher pushing down. He's going to be sitting right on top of that keep, and Tennessee's going to be looking to take it down with him. That's going to have them right on the cusp of the core very, very soon.
With level 16 Colossal Totem paired with the Earthgrass Totem on Rhaegar could be very impactful. We're just going to have to keep our eyes out for that because that can set up so many massive moments for things like Maw to land on a giant clump of heroes. The Punisher, though, is doing so much damage to this keep with the power of this team.
LSU trying to focus it down as much as they can while still dancing around the damage potential of Jaina with her Blizzard. Jaina, of course, trying to... There goes the Sundering. He did go out. Not a lot of value there. Almost more of a disengage. Oh, but there goes the Divine Shield has to go down. And look at that damage done on top of
the poison.
Cruxius.
Cruxius is going to get the shield at the last moment. The Maw was thrown out, and the Mosh Pit follow-up onto 3 targets, trying to blow through this team, but they just don't have the damage. Folden is the one that falls. Slug will be traded out, but this keep is still standing.
Yeah, one-on-one, one kill to one kill right now for both of these teams, but they're still going at it. Both health pools very low for both teams, and the keep still stands, though.
Aggressive
LSU
ball.
does the event. Nice.
Hungering Arrow, is it there? If it connects, that will be the kill.
Though.
The heal from BOID, but Earthgrass Totem coming into play, and that will be a dead Muradin.
Nice Earthgrasp there by Rhaegar to get that down. BYD is next in the sights. The Uther, they're just going to continue to push, but so much damage from
Nice
the Blizzard there.
Beautiful peel by
They
Raffle.
are going to be able to peel and get back to safety.
Dude, they defended the keep.
Yeah,
that is so massive here by LSU, and they've caught up a little bit in experience.
It absolutely matters, as we know, that when keeps start to fall, those more powerful minions push the lane. So if they can continue to hold that out, they need to clear these waves, keep the minion wave pushed out so that they're not sitting on top of the keep, and then just do their best to defend it as long as they can. It hasn't fallen yet, so they actually are on pretty even footing right now with their opponents, outside the fact that there are still 2 forts, one in middle and one on top, on the side of Tennessee.
It's not the end of the world yet, but Tennessee definitely sitting in the leading position right now.
Yep, and here we see LSU just cleaning things up, trying to get in a better scenario, while Tennessee does the same thing, pushing their minion waves out as far as possible. They are going to grab this Merc camp in the bottom lane, and here we see Mateo 0243. That is Rhaegar, and that Earthgrass Totem was really the decisive factor on that pickoff right at the end of that fight.
Yeah, it adds such a different, power to this whole composition. It gives them like an immediate bit of control. The fact that Rhaegar now has Feral Lunge at base. He dives in to close that gap. He throws it down on 2 targets. It's 90% slow for a couple seconds, and it's so easy to land them all. But look at this flank coming in from Tennessee.
Jaina with the Water Elemental spawn on the flank. Folden taking a ton of damage so far. And the lockdown. There goes the Sundering, though, and the defense. And they're going to have to back away. Divine Shield is down. Matt is taking so much damage, but he is going to get all the healing there. Hecker MJ to poison damage, but the vault. Both teams just trying to figure out how to best position, not fully committing there.
Every single heroic except for Mosh Pit and Rain was used by Ellie. Oh, and go for the throat as well. So good response from both teams. Great defense there on the side of LSU, but level 20 is going to be a problem soon, and honestly, LSU has to fight now. Yeah,
and LSU has yet to get an objective cap in this point. And here you see it. They're right now. They're on top of Mathis. They want to get advantage here. There goes to Earthgrass Totem. He does leap away with the support of Dwarf Toss, and they are going to zone out Tennessee. Maybe they're just going to concede this one. I doubt it, though. They're flirting on the edges there and looking to engage Raffle Copper, going potential for the flank. Oh, there's so many heroes.
Raffle keeps stealing skeletal defenders with Cone of Cold. It's actually really big. He's denying a lot of them. Mathis gets caught in the Mosh Pit, and the Rain follow-up on 2, and that's a double kill for LSU.
Oh, LSU in a bad situation here. Dreaded also very low on health.
But Frumgore goes down.
Yeah, Frumgore did go down. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Well, the turnaround is real. 4-0. Only Rafflecopter surviving, and even Draded, who got very low there, did survive in that last moment. Beautiful response, and suddenly LSU has the lead in experience.
Absolutely, and they're going to turn 20 before Tennessee. Things can change so quickly. Now, they are behind a little bit on the structure game, but look at this. This Punisher is going to be pushing in the weak lane. This is the one that has access to the keep, and here's that replay. We see Tennessee just trying to position, but look at that
power slide, Mosh,
yes.
Rain. This is what got them that win.
Absolutely. Such a great combination of heroics used by LSU, and it turned everything around. Sure, they had heroes low on health, but they were able to do it and secure it, and all of that damage in basically due to the fact that they were able to sync the heroics that way.
Beautifully done. You know, the power of the combo and just power slide in general really working out for them. So now suddenly they're the ones pressuring the base of Tennessee with level 20 and a near full health Punisher. 75% of his health bar remaining. They can definitely pressure the core if they're feeling confident.
Yep, absolutely. Those heroes have spawned, though, for Tennessee. They're all back in the game. All heroics are up, so level 20 as well, turning the corner for Tennessee. Both teams very strong, and it looks like LSU going to play a little bit of the patient game, look towards Mercs, and look to take that fight a little bit later.
I'm a little bit worried that they didn't get more aggressive there. They got one fight and they took it really well. And you know, Tennessee, they made a mistake. They're going to know exactly how to respond. They're going to adapt. They're going to say, all right, just you know, don't get caught by power slide. Play a little more passively. And that was also a scenario that was enabled because of that earlier fight that we saw.
Yeah.
So the fact that Divine Shield had been used during that initiation in the bottom lane and it wasn't there to deny the mosh pit really is what made that possible. That's not necessarily going to be the case next time.
Oh, nice sundering there. So much control out of that. And look at that Rain of Vengeance again. So much damage.
I take it back.
Look at that Hacker MJ, though, with the nice ancestral healing on him. And they do the exact same thing.
All right, well, you know, LSU just wants to prove me wrong. The Bolt aggressively with the Spirit Wolf there from Thrall, doing a good bit of damage, but three members are down on the side of Tennessee.
That's the Rain of Vengeance choke, man. You don't want your team.
They're going for core.
Oh, man, you don't want your team in the choke like that with Rain of Vengeance. It is so painful.
And Sundering, yeah.
And Sundering at the same time. You know, they're both linear abilities, so you
Tennessee.
line them up and the lines work really well together.
A very, you know, over-aggressive attempt there. And this could cost them the game. They're sieging up on this core, and there's still another 20 seconds on these 3 hero death timers.
Is this game, could it have turned around that quickly? What looked like such a strong advantage for Tennessee in this game turned so fast by just a couple clutch team fights by LSU, and it looks like they are going to secure it. Math is just doing whatever he can to try to disrupt it, but it will not work. LSU secures Game 2 against Tennessee. They're still in this.
I don't believe it, Cloaken, just like that. And I even had the audacity to doubt them in that moment. But Tennessee, they went for that aggressive invade onto that mercenary camp. And like you mentioned, full on linear. We saw the Sundering come out in the immediate Rain of Vengeance power slide follow-up. And they just dismantled Tennessee in the extreme late game.
You watch those health bars just like drop so fast, and it turned around so quickly. I have to hand it to LSU. Nice job by them to sync up their heroics, work together as a team, and turn that game around. They are still in this. They have not been knocked out yet. It is an exciting time for LSU. Tennessee, they must be feeling rattled right now.
I mean, on social media websites, Tennessee is rated as like one of the top teams to advance to the finals.
Absolutely.
Because of some of the MMRs and like just the skill level of their individual players. And the fact that LSU can come through and just be like, no, we've got this. We've got the more powerful late game.
Yeah, here we go. This is a look at some of the team fighting that we saw here. Tennessee had the upper hand a good bit of this game. We saw LSU fighting back pretty well, you know, getting some use out of Poison over there for Tennessee. So much damage. Tennessee in general just leading this entire game. Totally controlling the objectives, the punishers. As we said, I don't even think LSU they got one punisher there at the end. Just one.
Just the one.
The one that meant a lot.
But Tennessee, like you said, they were dominating for so long, they didn't get that keep. And that keep would have given them the advantage that would have helped them, you know, propel forward. Well, they never had that. They never had that guaranteed lane pressure advantage. And they lost one fight into another. And at the end of the day, those mistakes, like it takes one mistake to lose the game.
So interesting, man. Those late game mistakes, it's just everything gets more and more critical the later you get in these games.
Of course.
Those mistakes just all count so much. All right, well, this is an exciting time for LSU as they come back into this match against Tennessee. It is 1-1. Please don't go away. You're going to see the exciting conclusion of this matchup very shortly. I'm Cloaken with SolidJake. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm 2016. We just saw the crazy comeback by LSU. They're still in this matchup versus Tennessee. It is 1-1, and we're taking it to game 3. Jake, I did not expect that remarkable turnaround by LSU in the previous game on Infernal Shrines. Gotta give it to him.
The dream, man. The linear power of those heroics. Linear heroics have always been quite impactful in Heroes of the Storm. And we saw that really exemplified in that situation. Just the mosh pit 2 coming through with extreme power. Uther, so very good at responding to that, but he didn't have the cooldowns available for that moment.
Yeah, for sure. And LSU must be feeling very relieved to have the opportunity to prove that they do deserve to move on to the Epic 8, and we're going to see it in this next game. But let's take a look at some of the players who made some significant impacts on the part of LSU, especially in the late game as we looked at those team fights where they totally turned it around. Here, take a look at Dreaded, captain of the Bob Ross Fight Club. This guy is a major in chemical engineering, and he is also a major in Zagara.
Dude, the Maws, man! He got so many defensive Maws and just big impacts, and he knew exactly where to throw his little roaches and Hydralisks.
Yes, man. The power of Zerg really working for LSU in those fights. And then let's take another look. This is Hecarim. This guy in Thrall was just making it work there in those team fights late on Infernal Shrines. Psychology major. He knows how to get into people's heads.
Yeah, man, and we saw some phenomenal play by him in that last game, really making everything happen. Sundering is so incredibly impactful, and he plays a lot of playmaker heroes for sure.
Yeah, well, let's see if they can pull it out in this next game. We are unsure yet what battleground we're going to be on, but I'm curious. Tennessee has favored, let's see, it looks like they favor Infernal Shrines, so that's
I just got word in from the men above that we are actually going to Sky Temple, and the draft is underway, so let's jump right on into it.
It happens so fast around here, Jake.
Man.
Things move around, move forward.
These admins, production team, on point.
Oh, the draft is well underway, and here, look at this. The two laning monstrosities, Thrall and Zagara, banned out by both of these teams. They're just not ready to deal with their impactful heroics and their power in lane. And then we see initial pickups here. Falstad going to Tennessee, Leeming, Muradin, and then the follow-up on the side of Tennessee with Rhaegar.
Yeah, I love the Falstad here. This is actually the first time that Tennessee hasn't banned Falstad. And instead of banning him, they just first pick him. And it's super, super smart because in Sky Temple, he has that incredible impact of just being able to fly between lanes, control the temples, and Mighty Gust is a 40-second heroic that can really be the safest disengage in the world, or you can use it aggressively by flying past your opponents and blowing them into a corner or into your allies.
Yeah, we've seen some crazy combos with Mighty Gust, Mighty Gust into Void Prison, Mighty Gust into Apocalypse against the wall. Like, we've seen all kinds of cool combos with that ability. So Falstad, a very impactful player, especially on a large battleground like Sky Temple, where rotations are truly key. And then, of course, on the side of LSU, we're going to see Li Ming in their control. Not a hero that we've seen them play a lot, actually.
Yeah. I think it's smart to deny it, though. I think it's really smart to just take that away from Raffle. Don't give him that hero. Raffle is just such a playmaker as it is. So I like this call quite a bit. But it's interesting that they're going for the warrior lock. They grab Muradin and ban on ETC.
Yeah, that's interesting. They are clearly taking away options out of the hero pool, or the warrior pool for Tennessee. Zool also going down, so all of the big lane presence and the damage from Poison Nova being taken off the table here for these teams.
The interesting thing about having like Zool and Thrall all banned out, this kind of adds the value of Sonya quite a bit.
Oh, that's a good point.
Even though they've already got Greymane, he's not necessarily full melee. I would love to see like a double bruiser here, like Sonya, Diablo, or something like that.
That's actually a really cool point. And here we see double support coming in on the side of LSU, the Tassadar Tyrande. So we're going to be seeing some Roman and some killing going down.
Was that game one of the series where we saw that on the side of Tennessee have huge impact?
Yeah.
So maybe they're just stealing their strats mid-match, just kind of adapting, being that full Abathur mindset of just evolve and adapt.
That could totally work. Of course, we probably won't see another chokeall here in this game, given that it's not an opportunity for either of those teams. But on the side of Tennessee, they are going to pick up Johanna for the front line. I mean, we've just been seeing her do such a good job of being a cornerstone of team fights. A lot of control with Condemn coming out for her. So nice pickup by Tennessee. I know they're very comfortable on this hero as well. Mathdiz spends a lot of time on Johanna, and we'll be very confident going into this matchup.
So I'm curious what they're going to do.
Sport style.
You could see something like a Zeratul, Not necessarily the most common hero in this tournament so far, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not a bad option for Gut Slug. I don't think we'll see Kerrigan. Kerrigan Johanna used to be a really common pairing. I know Gut Slug does like Kerrigan. It's one of his pocket picks that he's willing to bust out. And you know, it's, as strong as that pairing is, Kerrigan is so all in. She goes in, and if she misses her combo, she's going to be so vulnerable to the response of the Lunar Flare with Hunter's Market Stormbolt.
Yeah. I think Azeratul would be really cool. I mean, we talked about that Gus Void Prison combo. That would actually be pretty cool. But Azeratul into a Tassadar Tyrande.
Sonya, they do it.
Might not be. Oh yeah, that's what you were speaking of, and I think you're exactly right. Banding out a lot of these huge lane presence heroes, these control heroics that we saw in the ban phase makes Sonya even more a valuable pick.
For sure. I mean, she can get the mercenary camps on her own. There's like a lot of added bonuses to having that hero on your team especially with these kind of bans. So the final pick of LSU, they've got a pretty well-rounded team, but they need some more damage, and Vala is really standing out to me. The Vala play in that last game was certainly on point, even without the Wombo combo of Sundering, Rain of Vengeance, whatever. It's still quite good with what they have. They've already got 2 lockdowns, and having that big AoE linear lockdown could be very useful.
Now, LSU's known to be very confident on a double support scenario using Tassadar as a backup, but we have yet to see the sort of half support action. Usually, they're pairing their double support with a stronger, a stronger support like a Rhaegar or something else. So we'll have to see how effective this can be for them. Of course, when played really well, it's
right, and they also just have so much more vision their opponents too. Just with Sentinel to scout out the boss being attempted, Oracle when you're posturing for the fight, but they're going for double warrior, double support, super sustain.
Interesting stuff. Of course, the Tyrande Stitches synergy is real. Lunar Flare into Hook is great. They have so much control with Murden as well.
Yeah.
But they're really relying on their damage to come out of that Li Ming. So Drated's play on Li Ming is going to be crucial. Her positioning, her ability to get takedowns and then reset for even more damage. That they're almost all in on that essentially.
Yeah, this is I really shouldn't say it. I wanted to say this is a scenario where I would love to see Bloodlust. It's not going to happen though. I thought about it a little bit more and I completely retracted my The stream knows that I'm
always there.
I'm always going to try to find any way to vie for its viability. Unfortunately,
wow, well,
the dream's dead.
I think this is an interesting strategy here by LSU. Obviously, Stitch is a very disruptive hero if he can land the hook. So I feel like they've taken the risk-reward element, and it's a little bit leaning on the risk side right now for LSU. They're relying on their skill to land hooks. They're relying on the Li Ming to position well, get takedowns early, and then capitalize on building on that. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a risky draft for LSU, but if they're confident on these heroes and they can pull it out and play mechanically strong, it could work for them.
You know, all tournament long, when we've seen Stitches played, I haven't seen much of an impact from the hooks in the early game.
Yeah, you're right.
The early game. But once they hit level 16 and they gain the power of Fishing Hook, that's when the Stitches, we start just completely highlighting their play because they're literally just winning the game for the team because they're getting these huge impactful hooks from afar when the death timers are so much more, detrimental to your team.
Sure.
And it adds up so much.
I will say shout outs to Oddish, East Carolina. Saw some serious hooks. She deserves some credit for sure.
She'll be playing later today, actually.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, maybe she'll break out her Stitches again. Well, we'll see exactly how Stitches looks in the hands of LSU. Going to be an interesting call. Hecarim going to be the one probably playing that. I think we probably saw that as well in the draft. So can they pull it out with this risky composition? Tyrande, Murden, Stitches combo with the Li Ming for damage. And then on the Tennessee side, we see a little bit more of a standard comp, but relying on that Sonya for the close-up melee damage with the backup of Rhaegar. So she will have the Storm Shield supporting her. And then, a lot of damage and focus is going to be on keeping her sustained in her team fights. So...
Alrighty, guys. Yeah. Well, this is, of course, Sky Temple, and this is indeed the rubber match. Only one team can move on to the round of 8, and one team's dream of being the heroes of the dorm will be completely squashed.
And I love it, man. Sky Temple, such an interesting battleground. We see a really variety of strategies come into play here around how to strategically position around these temple spawns. Do you go all in? Do you defend? Do you prioritize the center one? How do you control vision around the center one? There's so many components to this battleground that are so important to take advantage. Of course, here's a quick look at some of it. Those are the Merc camps themselves that we will see spread around the map. We see Siege Giants. We have Bruisers as well. And then, of course, the boss in the middle. But it all is really about these temple shrines and your ability to control that yellow circle that you see there. If you can control it, this laser beam will begin to assault your opponent's fortifications, their structures, and we've talked about this in the past, but this is one of those maps where you don't really have to focus on the pushing game. You can go all in on the objective and ride it all the way to the win. So if you can control it, it could mean victory.
And that's kind of like one of the other big benefits having Toronto Tassadar as your team, because suddenly you've got this double support, and Mule is a really impactful talent on this game. So we could actually see Mule come into play, but it looks like we're actually ready to hop right on in to our third game with LSU on the blue side. We've got Dreaded playing as Li Ming, Hecarim on Stitches, Cruxius on the Murd, and Folden playing Tyrande, and Manio 2-4-3.
And in the red trucks for Tennessee, let's take a look at their team right now. We have Slug playing the Sonya, BYD on Rhaegar, Mathdiz on the Johanna, Falstad playing by Rafflecopter, and Frumgore driving Greymane. Can Tennessee put this one in the bank? They're probably feeling a little bit rattled by LSU's ability to turn this around. And of course, these two teams both coming out of the Southern region, 6th seed and the 2nd seed. Tennessee clearly the favored team in this scenario, but it is anyone's game, anyone's match right now. It's going to be exciting. All this happening on Sky Temple. What do you think? Head on over to Twitter, use the hashtag Heroes of the Dorm, vote for LSU with hashtag Vote LSU, or vote for Tennessee, hashtag Vote 10. Let's see what you think out there.
Remember, vote 10, that's two N's there. So don't just vote 10 or vote TEN, it's TENN.
That's right. A lot of double letters in Tennessee, actually, when you look at it.
That word is like next level if you're in grade school. Like, good luck. Connecticut and Tennessee, like impossible.
It's like Mississippi. I don't know what it is about all those southern words. Just lots of double letters. I really dig the double letter.
Oh, the hook on the ball side very early. Lunar Flare wasn't there. And so honestly, when you play Tyrande, you have to actually just predict that the hook will connect. You need to line up that Lunar Flare basically when the hook, at least the base level hook, reaches its max length. And if you set out the Lunar Flare, because it has a bit of initiation time, if you do that properly, it's going to give you this guaranteed lockdown. Falstad won't be the barrel roll. You throw down the Hunter's Mark, and that is some that's a bucket of chicken in your pants.
Yeah, exactly. You know what's so cool about this game is we're not seeing any of those strong laners that we've seen on the majority of our games right now. So we're going to see the effectiveness of that throughout this game, or at least the impact of these other heroes in this game. So I'm excited to see some team fights that don't involve some of the heroics we've seen thus far. It's going to be pretty cool. Right now, engagements here on the center shrine while Tennessee holds down the top shrine. Hooks by Hecarim. Yeah.
There's just no response. We've got Stormbolt and Lunar Flare, and neither of them are being thrown out in, in coordination with the hook, and it's really costing them a lot of potential kills they could have already had.
Yeah, a little bit of synergy miss-ups there on the part of LSU, but meanwhile, Slug just holding it down here while LSU's content, or not content, but having to deal with the pressure of Tennessee on this.
There we go.
Yeah, that's what you want to see right there.
And I gotta say, Hecarim is already, making me impressed. He's 3 for 3 in his hook so far in this game, and that's not something we've seen so far in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm sure LSU didn't expect quite the pressure on their temple. Sometimes we see both teams content to just separate these first temple spawns and go 1-for-1 on them, but Tennessee's not having it. They don't want to give LSU a leg up at all. Math is waiting in deep without the support of his team, but Frumgore and BYD there to support right now.
Slug from behind, though, actually decides to back away. I thought he was going to go full on ham status, but says a little bit too risky here with that flank.
And that there shows the importance of that vision, the little vision tower there right above the northern shrine. If you don't have control of it, you can get those flanks from heroes like Sonya, which can just wreck your team if you're not prepared. Hecarim following solo. He will fall out of this fight. That is first blood for Tennessee. Actually, not first blood. It looks like they both got a kill. Yeah, they got that early hook stun on Raffle. So 1-for-1 right now on the kill count.
Yeah.
Tennessee and LSU looking about equal, though, when it comes to the objectives.
In experience, it's pretty darn even so far. I mean, but, the fact that we're already seeing such a big power in this hook, in this play, and they've started to correct their synergies with their team, it really bodes quite nicely here for LSU.
Yeah, for sure. The hook Lunar Flare combo will be a staple for this game, and the question is, will they be able to get all the value out of it that they need to in order to turn these team fights? So much riding on the double support and the damage of Li Ming on the part of LSU, so will they be able to pull it out? Right now, Tennessee turning their attention to the Murd camps here, while LSU just continues to soak lanes and look towards the next temple spawn.
So we talked about that power of Sonya. She's one of the best heroes in the game at soloing a mercenary camp. Not only is she very quick at doing it, but she's very efficient, all the self-sustain from Whirlwind provided. So this is going to give them a nice little bonus to kind of have the additional map presence after this is picked up, while we're seeing 3 members on the side of LSU work on a mercenary camp of the exact same power.
Yeah, and interesting to see, of course, Rhaegar picking up Cleanse here on his side. You know, will he be able to protect his team with that ability from the inevitable lockdown that is going to come from LSU? We will find out shortly. Raffle here with the support of Mercs.
Oh,
but that's
no.
the hook. Yeah.
Oh, that was actually
No
a really scary situation. And, you know, this is kind of also really interesting. The fact that Falstad does have this global presence in top, so he can fly down to bottom when that temple does spawn. But the fact that this Bruiser camp is going to be here far longer than the Bruiser camp of Tennessee.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, Tennessee happy to continue to put the pressure here while Hecarim just tries to hold it down. And meanwhile, we see 3 for Tennessee here in the bottom lane, pushing against the 2 of LSU. And there it is, the Southern Temple spawn. This is always where we see nasty engagements, because getting down into this temple is tough. There's bushes that wreck your sight, and then of course it's just full-on choke mode to try to get in there.
Fear the bush, man.
Fear it.
All right, well, we do see Falstad is actually going to be flying down in just a moment after hearthing back to base. He wants to top off his health and mana to make sure he's
Oh,
power.
no.
But this is when they're at a bit of a weakness, and Greyman is very low.
Frumgore does fall first, though, for Tennessee. That does wreck them a little bit in their confidence. Gutslug trying to just back out a little bit. Math is trying to support with the peel, but can it happen? They're all looking at Gutslug as the next target. Rafflecopter in for the support, though, and damage going down.
Nice.
There goes the Lunar Flare for the peel. There wasn't a follow-up for the hook, so still just sort of meleeing around here right now. Both teams, right now Tennessee though, man down, 4-on-5 scenario, and it looks like they will go tap well, regroup, and look at how to best strategize. Meanwhile, LSU has the priority over this temple. It is currently shelling away at the lower fort wall of Tennessee.
You know, this is actually tough because since they're controlling this temple, it does enable them to take out some towers. Taking out a tower could result in a level 10 before your opponents. And as we see this actually transferring over to Tennessee, that's why you're seeing LSU just kind of completely retreat.
Yeah, they backed away. They got value out of those early temple hits. They got the XP out of the towers, decided to just back away and let it go. They don't want to lose any more footing as they move towards level 10. Right now, Tennessee with a little bit of that lead, but honestly, they're going to be hitting these heroics at about the same time.
Yeah, if you got caught there, that could have been lights out. Level 10 is here, so Raffle doing a ton of damage. The Greyman flying on in for that huge damage, and he does have go for the throw. Immediately casting that on Hecarim.
And there you saw the disruptive nature of Gust. They just happened to wedge Stitches in the corner there while the rest of his team got fully disengaged. So whether that was intentional or not, if it was, kudos to the Falstad, because he knew he could catch Stitches in there and separate him from his team. Nice move there by Raffle. Good play indeed.
Yeah, and that's a nice little just, you know, big win for the team that's going to give them additional control. Falstad immediately soaking that top lane, and that fort is already incredibly low from the earlier pressure that he pushed on there with the mercenary camp. So if he gets this wave forward before Stitches as the only defense, he could probably get this fort down.
Wow, I love this. The votes so even out there. 53 for LSU, 47 for Tennessee. The favored team is currently still the undervoted team right now. That's so interesting. Can Raffle and crew hold it down for Tennessee? They're currently the number 2 seed out of the South that's in this bracket, and LSU the 6th seed out of the South. So this is a cool matchup we got here, Jake.
LSU is certainly making a case for why they've got the higher votes, because these hooks and the play in general have been fantastic in game number 2 and 3.
Yes, for sure.
All right, that top fort is going to go down, though. Falstad has succeeded in doing so.
Chipped away.
And the neglection of this top lane is costing a lot of experience to the side of LSU, who are now down a full level just about.
Yeah, he's probably going to get that tower as well, because it was completely out of ammo until they defend it right now. Nice Cruxus going in to just push back that bird. Raffle retreating.
Cloaken, is neglection a word?
Neglection? That's pretty good. I'd go with it. I'd give you points for that.
Thanks, man. I'm self-conscious about words sometimes, and that's... I might have made that up, so I'm happy with it.
Where you lead, I will follow, Jake. You know that.
Thanks, man. Such a good team player. Well, a lot of damage being done to Dreaded the hook, connecting on a minion, and they get the combo there.
Minion.
Nicely done.
Wrecked.
Screw that minion in general.
All right, Shadow stock does go down for LSU. A little bit of a heal there for the team. This next
but kind of wasteful.
Yeah, kind of wasteful.
That's a long cooldown.
Kind of wasteful. But this lower shrine is up right now. It's always...
Oh, the Gust to dismantle and separate the team. Cruxus put the hook on Raffle. not the proper synergy with the Lunar Flare.
We saw Sonya. She's picked up Leap, which is really cool to see. You saw her able to get the 3 heroes on lockdown there, but of course that heroic is his, you know, we're relying on your team to capitalize on that stun if and when possible, so we'll see if that works out for them.
All right, well, about a quarter of the ammunition has been spent here and picked up on the side of Tennessee. They now have a talent tier advantage, so this is quite dicey for LSU to really contest this. They're looking to maintain their presence. If they can get the resets underrated, he can really start to snowball in these fights, but so far, Tennessee is playing very safely, making sure to just control the shrine as safely as possible.
I like that. Right now they know that the objective is so powerful, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're not committing to this team fight altogether, waiting for their heroics to come back up, most of them on cooldown. They're just, you know, keeping the team at bay, zoning them out while they have their heroics on cooldown as well, getting full value out of this shrine. So nice work by Tennessee there. They do maintain almost a full 2-level lead here as they move closer to the level 16 talent tier. You know, this is looking pretty good for Tennessee.
Yeah, certainly is. I mean, they've really, you know, took the mid game in their favor, you know, significantly. The hooks were a bit of an issue at the start, but they've started to play a little bit more safely. They're responding much more. They're juking them left and right. It's not that the hooks are not properly placed. It's just we're seeing better play on the side of Tennessee in response to the hooks.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tennessee already positioned to get value out of the top shrine. And here we see the same thing. Their team just ready to zone out LSU from doing any kind of defense there on the top shrine. Let's see how come in. Oh, Mateo falling so low. He has to use dimensional shift.
You monster.
Oh, and there goes the Shadow Stalk for the peel and the Force Wall.
That's a win. That's a win. A big win.
Huge win to have that ability on cooldown. Right now, they're just deciding it is time to defend the shrine. They're waiting in deep, pushing Johanna back. But already, Tennessee got a ton of value out of that shrine, so that worked really well for them. And even if they let it go right now,
Falstad is flying on up. Raffle going to look for a big gust here. We see the huge damage onto Drada. The heroic leap hitting nothing, but the Force Wall actually completely separating Raffle from being able to get that big play. Li Ming getting shredded. Greymane is going to town, and the big bad wolf is here to play.
Yeah, you saw them fully commit to that Li Ming. They saw her so far back, and they knew they could get the corner on her. That was a nice move by Tennessee to just say, this is their damage. If we can take her out, we're good. We'll handle everybody else afterwards. So all in on Li Ming, got her taken down, peeled the rest of the team, and then turned around and said, you guys got nothing now. Back off. So LSU had to do that. Tennessee in pretty solid control of this game.
All right, well, let's take a look at that last moment here in the top. We see Raffle going in for the huge damage on Draded immediately as that priority target. The leap missed, but it didn't matter because they separated the team. The two warriors just, you know, leaving the rest of the team who were so very squishy in the back, and that just allowed Frumgar on Greymane to just go to town on their health pools. That razor swipe does so much damage.
Oh, and look at this fight over the boss. No one wants to give it up.
Oh, no.
Oh, red team does pick it up. Tennessee pushing them back, and LSU, I'm not sure if they should have...
Blessed shield on all three. Frumgar gets the kill, but Lunar Flare. Oh my gosh, he's alive.
Why would they risk that? That's rough. I know that you know, when you see the option of a boss potentially coming your way, Math is going for the kill on Li Ming. They just need to back off. Frumgar
needs to respect his own life. He is insane, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, no one likes to see a boss pushing on a keep wall like this. That's not good, but I don't think it was worth you know, losing another hero there in that engagement. They probably could have just, you know, braced for it, been ready to clear it in the bottom lane, and just dealt with it that way. So right now they are still playing a man down. It looks like Merton just spawned and is going to get back to this fight, but...
yeah, you know, a lot of this game is actually looking really even except for the level right now.
Yeah.
And this boss is doing a ton of damage. There's just so many small things that can be done better, and literally it's strictly just lining up the stuns after the hook.
Yeah.
They have hooked Raffle like 14 times in this game, and he has gotten out of every single hook except one.
Yeah.
If the stun follow-ups were there, they would be sitting in a much better position on the side of LSU.
Yeah, and you know, that's one of those heroes. If you're going to put the hook on Falstad, you have to have the lockdown. Otherwise, he's going to just barrel roll away. He's saving that cooldown. He's waiting for it. He's just like, you know, I'll take the risk. I'll barrel roll out of here. Right now, Slug Frumgar getting their Merc camps, taking the opportunity while LSU just reels from their recovery. LSU as well taking their Merc camps while they start to engage back into the lanes. But we do see Temple in the top. Falstad there for positioning for Tennessee. Blue team going to head over that right now.
This is risky.
Yeah.
I would love to see them just kind of trade out 2 forts. They could probably pick off 2 forts in this process, but they're going to try to take a fight without level 16. And
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do.
I was going to say, let's talk about the structure game right now. Tennessee just completely dominating with all forts down and now keep damage being dealt by this temple. LSU in a rough situation when it comes to that side of this game right now. This is looking worse and worse for LSU the further we go. They're going to have to stop this pressure somehow.
It's going to be a challenge. The top fort is going to go down regardless. They've been completely forced away from this top temple that Johannes controlled. And like I said, the leap. Yeah, the leap goes in, the gust into the corner, and the Greymane is here just shredding through their health bars.
Yeah, the leap gust combo just pushed them into the corner. Again, Raffle in damage, but danger, but he does barrel roll out right now. Cruxius is the one that they're targeting. He is going to fall as well, except for the disengage from Force Wall.
Oh, the Ancestral Gillyweed cocktail could be enough. He actually misses there on Cruxius, and that keeps still standing, makes it so they cannot engage any further.
But they're right here on this keep. They're going to take it down. HackerMJ with the kill. Oh, man, this is looking so bad for LSU. The keep goes down. Tennessee feeling so great. They just return with the power of Falstad back to the shrine, and it's going to shell away at the second keep, which is, gosh, they still have a good amount of value here, even the more powerful damage blasts that are going to come here right at the end.
Like I said, they could have just gone to 2 lanes, split up, took mid and bottom, and pushed out those forts instead of just kind of waiting around, not getting any experience, and being behind.
Yeah,
they're just barely hitting level 16 now, and they're really far behind Tennessee.
Yeah, of course, here's Rafflecopter, captain of Wee Ballin for University of Tennessee. This guy's such a solid player, and he's making work happen here on this Falstad. His ability to kind of bait the Stitches hooks, then roll out with barrel roll.
Slippery. Yeah, he is just sliding out of everything.
He's doing a really great job right now. Tennessee in such a good spot. They are so close to turning that level 20 talent tier long ahead of their opponents, and LSU just doing what they can to try to find a hero out of range.
That's huge.
Hook.
Full range hook. Gutslug gonna be burned down pretty quickly, but the gust comes through. Gutslug trying to stay alive. He's kind of cornered, but the peel is there. Draded very low in the back as well, throwing in a huge 3-man heroic leap.
Yeah, that heroic leap, so fun to watch go down. But there isn't a lot of follow-up. It just kind of wrecks the team. But I do want to say that hook by Stitches was so great on Sonya, but then the disengage from Falstad, that seems to be Tennessee's like, you know, you can hook whoever you want. We're just going to gust you away.
Exactly. It's like there was nothing done wrong on the side of LSU. It's just Raffle was there for the save, and it was beautiful.
It's great counterplay, and that seems to be their strategy here. It's like, you know what, we'll give you either hooks on me, Falstad, I'll barrel roll out, or we'll give you hooks on anyone else, and I will be there to disengage you with gust. So good luck with that, because even if you get the lockdown, the rest of the team's not going to be there. You're going to be blown. You're going to be blown back.
4 giants in the bottom. Catapults will now be marching down this lane as well. Only a single keep remaining on the side of LSU, and there are 2 temples active. If we do see Tennessee dominate these temples with their 4-level advantage in level 20 storm talents, it's pretty likely the game will end.
Yeah, this is just snowballing more and more into Tennessee's favor, and 2 temples have spawned right now. I mean, this is potentially lethal damage here. They could get this next keep and start dealing damage to the core if they secure both these temples, and it looks like they're doing just that. They've captured vision there around the mid temple. They're in a really prime spot to sort of deal death blows here.
All right, Gutslug controlling the top on his own. We see both temples being controlled, so that middle fort, all of its fortifications are gone, so that keep will fall rather quickly, but the hook is on point. The blow-up on Raffle is successful.
Yeah, that was great with the force wall backup. They were like, we're getting this guy. Even if he tries to barrel roll out, which he did, they were able to secure that kill. So.
Man, this is one of the situations I was talking about, the power of Mule and how they could have drafted that, and I just wish they had it here because we might be seeing a turnaround, but the core is got just the only thing remaining on the side of LSU.
Yeah, core damage now taking shields. Argon. Cruxius doing whatever he can. He realizes this is sort of the final death throws here. They have to kind of hold it down.
Slug.
And right now, Tennessee not ready to risk everything. They know they have a strong advantage. Gutslug just getting out of there with...
So close.
Oh, man, that was so close. But what I was just saying is Tennessee does not want to risk this lead. No point in doing that, but it looks like they are going to wade back in. They do know that there's only 2 heroes up here. 4-on-2 right now.
Losing Stitches is not what we want to see. Greymane going to get saved by the Ancestral, and now Draded is a little bit out of position, but trades out on the Sonya.
Yeah, I'm really not sure Tennessee should be pushing their story right now. They have just such a significant lead. They should just play cautiously, wait for their full team to always be there. I mean, you saw that. Li Ming able to get a pick-off there just by her damage alone. So they cannot continue to risk scenarios like that. They just need to ride this game out and move on to the Epic Gate. That's what their sights should be on. Don't look for the flashy plays. Just finish the job. They're so close to clinching it right now. They could throw it if they aren't careful.
So some teams would get a little bit anxious because the fact that they still have that level 20 talent tier advantage. But I'm all with you. I think they need to just wait. It doesn't matter. They're so much closer. They still have a fort standing. So, I mean, there's no, even if they lost a team fight, the chance of LSU even being able to end with all the keeps still standing, it's very unlikely. They just need to kind of wait for the next temple.
Yeah, the desperation needs to be on the side of LSU right now. If we're seeing Tennessee take risky moves, that is not what they should be doing. Just playing cautious right now. They do have all these mercs. They have the option of the boss if they want to turn their attention.
The boss is the best way to lose, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's the best way to lose.
They could have gotten it earlier, but now is not the right time for sure. That would be the best way to lose. It would be fun, though. It would be fun to see an engagement on the boss. But they are going to back away. Tennessee just happy to control the map. Falstad flying in to that top lane. Maybe they're going to turn attention to Merc Camp. They are. They're going to go ahead and recruit the last Merc Camp standing outside of the boss on this battleground and then probably push for the win. Their lanes are so far pushed out. If they don't get it with a direct damage push, then they will target the next temple spawn to clinch the victory here over LSU. LSU in dire straits. What can they do?
They need to get one of those magical hooks again. That's their one and only chance. Their core is already losing that shields once again because this temple, because the catapults, excuse me, in that top lane, which they're now pushing out. So 2 temples spawning. We see Falstad splitting up. Raffle has that global presence to be able to get out of harm's way. He's actually going to be scouted out by the sentinel that was just shot across the map. So they know he's down here, but they don't know how they want to respond.
Yeah, this is tough because right now Tennessee's just saying, good luck. You got to deal with one of these things.
And Tesla still defending that top lane. Like, this is so tough.
This is such a
the core is under heavy pressure.
Bad scenario here for LSU. Can they stop it right now with split forces all across the map?
Raffle flies up, juking the Stitches, who rotate down the bottom, and Gus 3 members in. Immediate death there on both Tyrande and Li Ming, and Cruxius will fall as well.
Oh, Jake, that's just disrespectful. That's just
game, my friend.
That's dirty.
The hook pulling someone out of camera. That's just a little bit comical. Falstad flying back down with the epic mount.
Raffle with the why not flex? Why not flex your muscles at the last moment?
Congratulations to Tennessee. They will be advancing to the round of 8 over LSU in a phenomenal game number 3 on Sky Temple.
You know, that's great. Tennessee just saying, not only do we have this game, sure we have 2 temples, we can just ride this out, but hey, let's go for the flashy plays. Might as well. Rafflecopter putting on a show there with Falstad at the end of the game. Congratulations. Tennessee advances to the Epic Gate. LSU will fall out, but congratulations on making it thus far. Super 16. Incredible showing out of the Southern region. These teams were both from the South. We've seen some strong regional pairings happening in Super 16.
That series was so much more back and forth than I thought it was. I mean, those hooks were on point. I was actually complaining in the draft that we weren't seeing much impact on the hooks until level 16, and that game changed everything. Like, the hook was a critical part of the entire success and the pressure they were able to put on Rafflecopter in particular.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to them. We're looking at a few highlights here. There we saw nice payoff with the hook, able to get Rafflecopter, who was such a slippery target for them all game. And then we saw the pickoff on Stitches early on. Look at this. Smart play by the Mighty Gus. They cornered Stitches. And this was, again, another smart play by Tennessee, zoning out Li Ming, taking out the main source of damage for LSU. Smart play all game long by Tennessee, just making it work.
I gotta say that last play we just checked out in the top shrine was actually more of a misplay by LSU than it was a good play by Tennessee, because honestly, the force wall worked so much against them. We had both the warriors, because Muradin ended up deciding to dwarf toss down away from their you know, the back line, the supports, the assassins, and they couldn't be there for the peel, and it just turned into disaster and destruction.
All right. Well, we're working on getting a follow-up interview with Tennessee shortly, so we'll try to pick that up really quick. But maybe we can take a look at the games that are coming soon, because I think you and I are probably going to take a little break. We're going to bring Gilly and Tim back up on here for some more exciting action. So let's take a quick look at the games that are coming your way shortly. Up next, UConn, Tricky Turtles. I know you're a big fan.
Tricky Turtles got this, man. I mean, Ohio State, you guys are impressive. You guys have some good games, but the Tricky Turtles, they're just too tricky.
Following up, East Carolina, Q-Build Brightwing, Oddish, and team taking it to Minnesota, Banana Cabana. Then after that, UPenn, Team Dayan, versus Arizona State Real Dream Team. Jake and I will be back for that one.
That's gonna be intense,
serious,
dude.
Yeah, that is gonna be exciting. Lots of fireworks there on that one. And then the last game of the day, San Jose State Drew's Dudes versus Cal Berkeley Golden Mishas.
The reigning champs.
Reigning champs. They're back in it. They're ready to show us what they have in store for this tournament. We spoke to those guys last night, and they are so hungry to show you just how strong a team they are.
Straight up just saying, look, there's no success is first place. Anything below first place is not success for Cal Berkeley, because you know, they have those expectations of now filling the shoes of the reigning champions. And even though it's a full new team, not a single returning member on that team, it's still the pride of the team, the Golden Mishas.
For sure. And yeah, you know, we talk to so many of these teams and we say, what does success look like for you and your team here and Here's the Dorm? And some of them are like, man, we're just so happy to be here. We got the Tassadar skin for participating. Cal Berkeley is like first place and only first place. They want to reign as king. They will
true
come
competitive
and destroy.
mentality,
Yes,
really.
Absolutely. They're ready to win, and that for them is the only thing that means success. It's not just having a solid team or being a part of an esports club. It is victory and only victory. So I'm excited to see that. It'll be fun.
Yeah, a lot of awesome games coming up, and of course, ASU, they are probably the favorite for the entire event on most people's brackets. So, you know, with them coming up here in one of these upcoming matches, they're going to show exactly why that is. They have some explosive playstyles, diverse drafts. We might even see Michael Udall buzz up the Lost Vikings again.
I would love to see some Udall Vikings, but unfortunately, guys, we will not be able to get that interview with Tennessee. But back up next, Tim, Trikslyr Frazier, Jaycie, Gillyweed, Gluck. They will be bringing it to you. Jake and I are going to take a short break. We'll be back later in the day. Stick with us. More Super 16 action coming your way. We'll be right back.